Welcome back. Let's start putting questions to Lenka Martinek from our viewers. This is First Call, when the viewer gets an opportunity to put a question directly to an investing professional. Andre has written us an email. Subject of his email is Teck Resources, a company and a stock that we mentioned just a short time ago in our critical minerals conversation with Lenka Martinek. Andre writes as follows: Good morning. I would imagine Teck is a great entry point at the moment, or do you envision a little pullback until the dust settles? Lenka, what do you think of this current share price? We'll put up a graph of Teck Resources, TECK.B on the TSX. We'll show viewers where it's trading at, and what's your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Lenka, on this price of $58.14 as an entry point into Teck Resources?
Yeah, so actually, I really like this company. We obviously we are in this structural bull trend in copper markets that we do not see fading, irrespective of the politics. We think Teck Resources is one of those companies that I mentioned that are have this almost friendly status symbol in the world, and so this is a really great for us. This is a really great Canadian play in terms of the price right now. Teck Resources is always going to be beholden to the price of copper. So anywhere, anytime that copper gets closer to $4, we get really excited because we see that at the bottom range of what copper prices will do, and then moving up from there. So right now we're in the middle of that range roughly. But to me, at this price, this is pretty interesting, and I would probably not wait for a further pullback, but recognize that copper prices could head a little bit lower in this environment if we get something closer to a U.S. recession coming forward with all of this tariff talk. But from a sort of a perspective of being sort of protected from the tariff environment, this is a pretty good company.
Okay, there you go, Andre. Thanks for the email. Lenka's view, this is a good entry point on Teck Resources. She would not wait for a more meaningful pullback in the shares. Here comes an email from Hector. Hector writes as follows: Which engineering firm is most geared towards sustainable projects, and which do you like the most as an investment?
Yeah, thanks a lot for this question. We actually we look at this sector quite a bit from a sustainability perspective. Which one is more sustainable, WSP or Atkins Realis? I don't have a view on that. Both of those companies are in our long portfolio. We really like service companies right now because of the lack of being in the crossfires of tariffs on goods. So. To answer your question, really no preference. I can't see a huge distinction between WSP or Atkins Realis from a sustainability perspective. Both are very much involved in interesting engineering projects that are absolutely front and center in terms of climate adaptation. The problem that we have with these companies is that they trade expensive. And so as a sort of investment strategy, I think that what we have done over time is, in our basket of engineering services company, we try to find the ones that are trading at a cheaper valuation, precisely because we don't see a lot of difference in terms of their longer term growth prospects. And so we're sort of rotating through the ones that are, if anything that comes up that's a little bit cheaper, that's really how we're a main input for us on these companies, because we don't see a lot of difference between them from a sustainability perspective.
Okay, thanks, Hector, for your question on the engineering stocks. And here comes an email from Joy in Prince Edward Island. Joy writes as follows: Would you buy Tesla, or do you think the company could be a risky investment if there is backlash against Elon Musk? I think a lot of investors are wondering exactly the same thing. Lenka, what's your take on Tesla?
So I hope this doesn't come across as a cop-out answer, but from a starting point, despite Tesla being one of the largest producers of electric vehicles, we don't actually hold them in our potential investment universe. And the reason for that is because of governance issues. So it's not part of our universe. We don't trade Tesla either from the long or the short side, because basically the company is not up to snuff from an operational perspective or from an ESG governance perspective. And so for us in our portfolio, this is kind of a no-go. That being said, when I look at Tesla, there is the obvious risk of investing in a company where the CEO has a massive personality that can be either for and against. But at some level, I think we also have to look at the sort of the outlook for the auto industry. And as I referred to earlier in the show today, it is not a great environment to be for auto manufacturers more generally. And so Tesla aside, for us, this is not an area of investment. Auto manufacturers is not an area of investment today. So for me, both from a sustainability perspective and an economic perspective, Tesla is let it stand aside for now.
Okay. Do you have stocks in the electric vehicle sector that you like and would recommend?
So at the moment, we're not holding any auto stocks long. Really, how we look at the electric vehicle industry today is that it's the incumbents that will continue to basically take market share. So there's no winner anymore. We're no longer in an environment where Tesla is the obvious winner in electric vehicles because they have some sort of technological advantage, better batteries, et cetera, et cetera. We don't see that. There's no distinction anymore for, in our view, between a Volvo electric vehicle or a Volkswagen or something else. And so our view on electric vehicles today is you're not really purchasing, you're not looking for the technology specifically, you're really looking at just, is this a sector that is going to expand over time or not? And as I mentioned, our answer to that is really, this is not a great environment for car sales.
Lenka, thank you so much for joining us for the full hour of The Street today. Lenka Martinek was our featured guest. Always great to have her